Yes. Alright. Narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, chapter number 18, beginning from verse number 6. So we had read the story of King Nahush, who was son of Yati, the son of Pururava's son, whose name was Ayu, son of Ayu. And then it was said that Nahusha, he had 6 sons like his 6 senses, and one of them was Yayati, who became the king, because the eldest Yati did not want to become king, knowing the problems associated with it. He was a wise person, so he left and went to forest. Then Yayati became king, and then he said that, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said that Yayati married Devayani, daughter of Shukracharya, and Sharmishtha, daughter of Vishparva. So King Parikshit raised the question, how is it that Nahusha, who is a Kshatriya, married Devayani, daughter of a Brahmana? Because this is against the Dharma principles or the Smriti principles. So now Sukadeva Goswami is replying to that. He says, Sri Shuka Vacha, Ekda Danvendrasya Sarmishtha Nam Kanyaka Sakhi Sahasra Sanyukta Guru Putriya Cha Bhamini Devyanya Purodhyane Pushpita Druma Sankule Vyacharat Kal Geetali Nalini Puline Vala. So once the daughter of Vrishparva, who is the king of the Danavas or Asuras, she went to forest for a picnic. Her name is Sharmishtha, and Sharmishtha was friendly with Devayani, daughter of Shukracharya, because Shukracharya was the guru of the Asuras. So she is the daughter of the guru, and Sharmishtha is the daughter of the king. So they were friends, because Shukracharya was often coming to the court of King Vrishaparva, also coming and performing religious ceremonies. And Vishparva was also going to see Shukracharya for consulting. And it is by the power of Shukracharya that Vishparva was ruling, so much that even Indra was afraid of him. So as we know from the earlier stories of Prahlad and Bali, they were all disciples of Shukracharya, and he was very gracious on them, and they were also very devoted to him. So there was a good friendship between these two girls. Both were young, and they had many other young girls who were friends with them. So one day they went to Purodhyane. To the Purodhyane means the garden of the city. So it was somewhere outside the city. And they went there, not much to do, so just playing. When you have wealth, you have power, then this is what happens: wealth, power, and youth. Ekekamapi anarthaya kimu yatra chatushtayam. So each one of them is dangerous. What if all are together? The fourth one is lack of discrimination, aviveka. Yaunam dhan sampatti prabhutvam avivekiта ऐकैकमपि अनर्थाय किमु यत्र चतुष्टयम्. So youth, wealth, power and no viveka. And this is what you see in the youth of present times, that these four things go very well with them, and the outcome is also known. So therefore they just went to have fun. So they were playing Pushpita Druma Sankule. There was nice garden, forest, trees, flowers, and Kalagita Ali Nalini Pulinebula. They were at the bank of a lake which had very nice lotus flowers in it, so much that a lot of bees were flying around that. Kalagita singing their song. So
people are complaining on Zoom that it's very unclear to hear your voice. So maybe we could switch the phone and not use your iPhone, but this phone for Zoom and this microphone again is external.
As you like. So what is the problem?
Not clear.
It's very unclear, the voice.
So what will you do now?
We'll use this microphone again that we had before. That was very clear.
So why you didn't use before? Why didn't you use it to begin with?
Because this somehow the last time the iPhone we were playing.
Well, and last time also I heard complaint from Malati. It's I could not hear.
Yeah, I think why we didn't use it because we forgot that now we have this external speaker. No, this was the problem. But now when people say something, we cannot hear it.
But we can try this with that also.
True, just
What? We don't hear you clearly.
The voice is not clear.
Okay. We are trying to put another mic. I think we should just have the class upstairs with the AC so that my computer I have no problem and I use my computer. Because the problem is only with the computer, in the heat it doesn't work.
I thought I removed the pairing, but it didn't succeed. Okay.
testing the speaker.
Yeah, I have to hit in the meeting first. Okay. That should be working. So just test that they hear properly.
Okay, can you hear now? Anybody can tell if it's clear than before? Malati? And everybody is muted. Well, I don't know. They're answering and we don't hear.
Well, let's try this.
We should put his computer on yesterday.
Should be set up. Hello, can anyone hear us?
No.
Can anyone confirm that this sound is coming through?
I don't think they can hear.
Babaji is very unclear. Your voice is very clear. Babaji is not clear.
Okay, how about now?
Now is it clear?
Same here.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, same here.
Oh, same here means I'm asking, is it clear now? Is it better now? Pratap? Malati? I think they don't hear at all.
Is muted, Babaji. Is muted. Babaji, you are muted now.
Muted. I'm muted.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, can you hear now?
Yeah, it's much better now. It's good. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Facebook is good also. The Facebook sound is perfect even if Zoom goes off.
Facebook sounds perfect.
okay. So now they didn't hear it. So okay, better I start from the beginning. So we are reading from Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 18th chapter, verse number 6. And Sukadeva Goswami is answering to the question raised by Parikshit Maharaj. How is it that King Yayati married Devyani, who is daughter of Shukracharya, who is a Brahmana? Because Yayati, being a Kshatriya, should not marry Brahmana's daughter, because this is called Pratiloma marriage, which is prohibited in the Smriti Shastra. So to answer this question, Sri Sukadeva Goswami starts telling the story that Devyani and Sharmishtha, the daughter of King Vrishaparva, they were friends. Vrishaparva was the king of the Asuras or Daityas, and Shukracharya was his guru. So the daughter of Guru and daughter of king were friends, and one day they went for a picnic outside the city in the city garden. In the olden days, the cities, the palaces, they used to have gardens which were primarily reserved for royal people. So this is what is being described, that there was nice trees, flowers, and there was a lake inside that which was full of lotus flowers and the bees humming around them. So ta jalashayam asadhya kanyaha kamalalochanaha tire nyasya dukulani vijrahu sinchatir mitha. So when they came to the bank of the lake, then by that time they were feeling hot, just like now, summertime. So in heat, the most pleasurable thing is to jump inside a lake or a pool and make yourself cool. So they also decided that. And since there were no men there, so they removed their clothes and they went into water naked. And they were playing there, throwing water at each other. So, tire nyasya dukulani vijrahu sinchatir mitha. So they're playing. Viksha vrajantam girisham sahadevya vrishasthitam sahasautirya vasansi paryudhruviredita striya. When they were doing that, then suddenly they saw that Bhagavan Shiva was coming. So they saw him coming from far. Because Shiva wanders, he has no home. So even when it's locked down, he cannot stay at home. Because he has no home. Or you can say that his home is forest and mountains. So that's where he is. He has no fear of corona there. Because it doesn't go through the animals. There are no human beings there. So they saw him coming along with Parvati, and they both were sitting on their carrier, the bull. So Shiva is sitting and Parvati is along with him. And they both are chatting. Because bull has a wide back. So they don't have to just sit in front and back. They can also sit next to each other and talk to each other. It's quite boring that one is in front, whichever is, and one is in the back. And the front one can hear what the back one is saying, and the back one doesn't hear because the sound goes to the front. So that's very frustrating if you are going on a mobike like that. So they saw, and when they saw them coming, so they became obviously bashful. They were very shy that what if they come now and they see us playing in the water and we are naked. So they came out running and quickly they wanted to dress themselves. So because Devyani and Sharmishtha, they were friends. Now Devyani is the daughter of a Brahmana. Brahmanas usually don't have much wealth. They survive on Dakshina. And because they were friends, so Vrishaparva, father of Sharmishtha, whenever he purchased something for his daughter, he also bought it for Devyani. Because they were friends and he treated her also just like his own daughter. So if he bought some earrings, he bought 2 sets. If he bought some gopi dress, he also got 2 of them. So the meaning is that they usually, Sharmishtha and Devyani, had similar dresses. So now there is a good possibility of mix-up. Otherwise you remember your dress. It's not that you take someone else's dress. So they came out hurriedly and their dresses look same. So Sharmishtha came out running first. She is the princess. So obviously she comes out first and then she takes quickly the dress. But there was a mistake. Sharmishtha janati vaso guru putrya samavyayat swiyam matva prakupita devyani idam abravit. So Sharmishtha made a mistake that in hurry she took the dress of Devyani and she put it. And then came Devyani. And when Devyani saw, she saw that it is Sharmishtha who is putting her dress. Maybe their sizes were a little different. So she immediately became angry. She asked her, why you did this? So you see, this is material friendship. Material friendship is like this, that the friendship is basically selfishness. Because you have some purpose to fulfill from other person, then you make friendship. And material relations are also like that. Right? Brothers and sisters, sisters and sisters, when it comes to dividing the property of the parents, then all their relations disappear. Then they forget and they start fighting like enemies. They go to courts, right? Can even get people killed. So the friendship can turn into enmity very quickly if once some selfish goal is not fulfilled or somebody else is encroaching on one's rights. So this is what is being shown here in this, that people always say, oh, he is my friend, she is my friend. But friendship is understood when someone is in trouble. When going is good, then everybody is a friend. When you are in trouble, then people turn away their face, don't even want to recognize you. We saw that in the story of Dronacharya and Drupad Maharaj. As long as they were studying together, they were very good friends, buddy, chummies, right? And when Drupada becomes king, then he doesn't even recognize Dronacharya. So this is material friendship. Then we have friendship between Krishna and Sudama, that how much Krishna honored his friend Sudama, that he did not make him feel that he is less than him, and he did not make him feel embarrassed because of his poor situation. So that is real friendship. That's what Krishna is showing. So you see here that just for a little thing, Devyani became angry. So she asked, why did you put my dress? She said, oh, I came in hurry. So Devyani could have said, all right, we understand, and let's cover our bodies now, then you can change. He says, no, how dare you can do that? Do you know who I am? So the fight is always the fight between two ahankaras. There is no other problem. Most of the time the fight, what you call as the fight of honor, fight of this, is about the two ahankaras. So Devyani has the ahankara that she is the daughter of Guru. She is Guru Putri. And she was respected like that. Even Vrishparva was respecting. In the Smriti Shastra, in fact, there is an injunction that you should respect the wife, the son, the daughter of Guru, just like Guru. So naturally, Vrishparva was following that protocol, and Sarmishta was also respectful as long as she did not have any problem or her honor was not disturbed. So Devyani obviously felt proud and superior, and then she is Brahmana and Sarmishta is Kshatriya. So she said, how dare you can put on my dress? Do you not know that I am daughter of Shukracharya? So Sarmishta first was cool. She said, yes, I know. It is not true, but we are friends. We eat together, we play together. Now in this situation, what happened if I take your dress? So Devyani then became even more angry. Because if Sarmishta would have been humble, that sorry, please forgive me, I made a mistake, I was in hurry, maybe Devyani would not have gone to the extreme of insulting her. But Sharmistha was also king's daughter, so she is also not some ordinary girl. So she has her honor, her ahankara, her pride. So she also spoke back, says, don't talk too much, after all these dresses are given by my papa. You know your limits. It is you survive because of us. Right? Because that when ego comes, then you start speaking who is superior. So anyway, then they started arguing and counter-arguing, insulting and counter-insulting. And this is the fun of ahankara. So therefore it says that Swiyam matva prakupita devyani idam abravit. She became very angry, not only kupita, but prakupita. She lost her temper. So that's the characteristic of pride. Pride and tolerance, they don't go together. They do not have the same adhisthana. There is no samanya adhikaran. They are not co-located. They like to be on the extreme ends. If pride is sitting in one corner, then tolerance will sit on the other corner and probably his back to the pride. They are just opposite. So naturally, she was proud and not tolerant, therefore she became angry. So this is what she spoke. So she spoke very strong words. Aho nirikshatam asya dasya karmahya sampratam asmadharyam dhritvati shuni haviradhvare. Said, just see the improper action of this servant lady. So she called her as a dasi. Now calling a princess as dasi, and that too in front of all the dasis, that is most insulting. So this is another thing. If somebody insults you in public, that is more intolerable than if it is done in private. If the same thing was in private, probably it would not have heightened up to this extent. But because it was in public, in the sense that there were other girls, and these are all friends of Sharmistha. So now if Sharmistha does not speak up, then these other friends will think, oh, this Sharmistha has no backbone. She is just a pushover. And this Devyani, who is nobody, actually insulted her and she didn't do anything. So therefore now Sharmistha's honor is at stake. So she is not going to tolerate it. Devyani is out of her head already. So she says, just look at her, this servant girl, how wrongly she has acted. So she is not even telling to her directly that you are wrong. Now she is telling everybody. So one is that you insult the person, another is that you not only insult but involve others also in it. Because then you feel much, much superior. That, look, all you girls, just look at me, how great I am and how lowly is this Sharmistha. And dharyate, what is that she has done? Asmad dharyam dhritvati. That she has put on the clothes which are ours. So, how is that possible? So then what is wrong with it? He says this is as wrong as if a dog goes to a sacrificial area and eats the havi. So Suniriva Advare, that just like a female dog goes to the Advara, to the sacrificial area, and then eats up. So that havi, the oblation is meant for the devas, who are superhumans, who are superior to humans, superior even to the brahmanas, because brahmanas are offering to the devas. And here come a dog and eats that. So that's the comparison she is making. That I am like a deva. In fact, my name is Devayani. And this is Sharmistha, who is just like a dog. And she is taking my dress. How is this possible? So this is, of course it is said that you should not use the objects of the Guru. His dress, his place, you should not sit on his place, should not even cross his shadow. And she is Guru Putri, so putting on her dress is like insult to Shukracharya. So that's why she is saying Asmat. She is not saying Mama, my, but ours. So she is really speaking out of big pride. So Sri Vishnath says, Achanati Swiyam Matva Guru Putriya Vasa Samvayat Paryavedhat. Not knowing that this dress belongs to the daughter of Guru and considering it her own, she put it on. Asampratam anuchitam. The word asampratam means anuchit brahmanai dharyam havi sundi. Yairidam tapsa shrishtam mukham punshay parasya ye dharyate yairi yeha jyoti shiva panthasya darshitaha. So you see, now she is applying a technique. So the technique is that instead of just speaking about yourself, now you speak about the whole clan. That do you know who are Brahmanas? As if she is the one like this. So she herself does not have any great achievements, but this is what it means, identification. So now she is not just Devyani, she is not just daughter of Shukracharya, which itself is of course great, but that is the meaning of Shukracharya, seminal daughter. Shukra means semen. So one is to be a daughter means to have your position by qualification. Another is to have your position just because of birth. So now she is flaunting her greatness, not because of her greatness, but because of her birth as a Brahmana and birth as daughter of Shukracharya. And now she goes beyond all limits, that how Brahmanas are so great. Yes, Brahmanas are great, but Brahmanas are also great because of their austerity, because of their knowledge, because of their humility, because of their tolerance. Sama, Dhamma, Tapas, Titiksha. Right? That is the greatness of Brahmana. This is not the greatness of Brahmana, to get upset like this. So it says, Yairidam tapsa shrishtam mukham punshah parasya. So he says that who are these Brahmanas? That these Brahmanas, they are born from the mouth of Supreme Person. Mukham shrishtam punshah mukham parasya. So they have been Brahmanas Mukhamasid Bahurajanya Smrita Purushokta. Brahmanas are born from the mouth. So Urubahu Padebhya Pradeh Prathak in Bhagavatam also it is said. So Brahmanas come from the mouth of Supreme Person, and they are the one who has created this world by their tapasya. Yair idam tapsa shrishtam. The world is created by them, by their austerities. So that is their greatness. So how can you, daughter of an asura, can compare with us? Dharyate yair iha jyoti shiva panthascha darshita. And they are the one who keep the Supreme Person in their heart, who is like the light. And they are the one who instruct the humanity on the path of the Vedas. Shiva Panthascha Darshita. The auspicious path of upliftment, advancement is instructed by them. So this is the greatness of Brahmanas. What she is saying is true, there is nothing wrong, but now because of this to insult others, that is not the Brahmanical nature. She should also depict the behavior which is suitable to the Brahmana. She is talking about the greatness of the Brahmanas, which is right, but she is not behaving herself. So this is how people take advantage of their lineage or their birth. So for that reason, in the olden days, the kings, they will send their children to the Gurukula. They have to go and live with everybody. Krishna also went and studied. So then they are with others and they learn to be on the ground. Later on they become prince and they had experienced that life of a common person. So that was a good system. So of course Devyani did not have to do that. She did not go to Gurukula. So vayam tatrapi bhragva shishya asya napitah sura asmad dharyam dhritvati shudra vedam ivasati. And says that on top of this we are the Bhrigus. We are not just some Brahmanas from here and there, but we come from the Bhrigu dynasty. Because Bhrigu is son of Brahma, and from him comes Shukracharya. So we are Bhargavas, we are Bhrigava, so means we are so great. Who is Bhrigu? Bhrigu was so great that he kicked Vishnu on his chest. Has anybody done it? No? Right? So we come in that line. You see, this is how the lineage works. So don't think of Bhrigu some ordinary person. Who can dare to do something like this, go and kick Vishnu on his chest, and then Vishnu held his foot and massaged it, and then he made a symbol of his foot on his chest. So these are Bhrigus. We are so great. So therefore, vayam tatrapi bhrigu. Again, she uses plural out of her pride. Not that I am. And who is she? She is nobody. Shishya asya pita asura. He says her father is disciple of my father. So she is nobody. She is just asura, asuri. And her father is my father's disciple. So Asmadharyam Dhritavati, and what she has done, look, she has put on my dress. How dare she can do that? Asmadharyam Dhritavati, and then she compares again. So says, oh, I missed one sloka before, anyway, you can do that. Shudra Vedam Ivasati. So, just like a Shudra who tries to study the Vedas. So, Shudras are not allowed. So, Yan Vadanti Uptishtante Loknatha Sureshwara Bhagavan Api Vishvatma Pavana Shri Niketana. So, these Brahmanas are so great that Loknatha Sureshwara Yan Vadanti Vandanti Uptishtante. That the controllers of the planets, the Lokas, and the chief of the Suras, they come and pray to them and worship them. So Brahmanas are so great. And Bhagavan api Vishvatma, and even Bhagavan, who is the Atma of the whole universe, even he worships Brahmanas. Right? Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. So Krishna is called Brahmanya Deva, who considers Brahmanas as his worshipable, as Devas. Although he himself is Deva Deva, but he also respects Brahmanas. That's why when the Kumaras went to Vaikuntha and they were stopped by Jay and Vijay, then Vishnu came at the gate and he was saying that if my own hand works against the Brahmanas, I will chop it off without a thought. So that much respect he was giving. Says, I am willing to chop off my arm if it acts against a Brahmana. He says, Brahmanas are worshipable. So therefore, she says, Bhagavan api Vishvatma, Pavana Shri Niketana, who is most pure, who is the abode of Shri, that Bhagavan also worships Brahmanas. And we are those Brahmanas. And among the Brahmanas, we are the Bhargavas, we are the descendants of Bhrigu. And where does this girl's Sarmishta stand in comparison to us? Nowhere. So just see what a wrong act, what a big offense she has done. This is called Maha offense. Not some small one, but big crime to do. So twice again she says that Asmadharyam Dhritavati. Earlier also she said this Asmadharyam Dhritavati. Something which is meant for us, she has put it on. Evam shapanti sharmishtha guruputrim abhasata rusha shvashanti uragiva dharshita dashtachada. So now it is term of Sharmishta. There is no fun if there is no response from the opponent when there is a fight. The rasa, Veera rasa, is there when both parties shoot arrows. If only one party is shooting arrows, that is no rasa. So rasa becomes manifest when there is a duel. So now Sharmishta starts shooting her arrows. So she is not less than her in talking, right? So it takes some effort to shoot an arrow. At least you have to pull the string. But to shoot these arrows is effortless. Tongue does not have any bones in it, right? It's the easiest thing to move. So Then when Guru Putri, when Devyani was cursing her, abusing her like this, then Sharmistha could not tolerate it. So human mind works like this, that it becomes influenced by the emotions of the person next to you. If you see somebody laughing, you also start laughing. If you see somebody crying, then you also feel like crying. If you are seeing somebody angry, in angry mood, then your anger also becomes incited. So emotions have this characteristic of mirroring others' emotion. So if you don't want someone to get angry at you, at least you don't be angry. Do this much. If you get angry, then you are making quite sure that there is going to be anger from the other side. Right? So now, Sharmistha, obviously, Brahmana is supposed to be more tolerant, she is Kshatriya, so she has to be more angry. And she has been insulted beyond limits, because Devyani was not speaking to her directly, but to these other ladies. Look what she is doing. She is putting her dress. She is like a dog, and she is eating the havi. So she is like a Shudra. So all these abusive words have been used. So she is described here that she was also angry, Rusha Abhaste. She also spoke back out of anger. How she was? Swasanti, she was deep breathing, or rather quick breathing out of anger. When you get angry, your breathing goes fast. And she is compared here to like a snake who has been kicked. So Urangi iva dharshita. So snake by nature is angry species. And if you hit them, then they are very angry. Right? Like Kaliya snake. When Krishna went, he came immediately to attack him. How dare you come here? And then Krishna was hitting him with his foot or feet. That was, of course, a great blessing on him. But he was getting mad in the beginning. He did not realize that he got the blessing. How many snakes got it? So not Aghasura. Aghasura was actually more. Krishna went inside his body. Yadangat pratima antarhita. So dashtad dachada. So she was so angry that she was biting her lips. When you get very angry, you bite your lips. In the Mahabharata war, it is described that when the armies in Kurukshetra, they were battling, so many people died. So there is a description of people lying there dead. And it is said that some people were lying dead with their teeth pressing their lips, because just before that they were so angry, and in the meantime their head got cut off. So the head is lying in the same position. So she was so angry that she was biting her lower lip out of anger. She probably felt like kicking her on or punching her on the nose. But before that she shoots arrows. So any comment on this? There is nothing much. आत्मवृत्तम अभिज्ञाय कथसे बहुभिक्षुकी किम न प्रतीक्षसे अस्माकं गृहान बलि भुजो यथा. So now she takes the revenge, and it has to be stronger than what Devyani has said, otherwise there is no fun. So she has to cut the arrows of Devyani, and for that she has to shoot stronger arrow. So he says that Atma Vrittam Avagya. He says you don't know yourself, you don't know what you do, and therefore you are boasting like this. Kathase means boasting. Bahu kathase, boasting so much. And Bhikshuki, you beggar. He says you're just a beggar, and you open your mouth in front of me. He says your father comes and stands at the gate of my father, just like Bali Bhoja. So like a crow. So you don't even know who you are. So Bali Bhoj can means a dog as well as a crow. So he says your father stands at the gate of my father just like a dog or like a crow to get some crumbles of food with his tongue lapping out. That's what you are. He says you have nothing. It is my father who is supporting your father, otherwise tomorrow morning you won't get breakfast. It is we who are sending food to you, otherwise what is that you have? You are speaking big words. We created this world. If you created this world, why do you come to us? Create another world. Go live there. He said just empty words which have no meaning in them. He says, obviously you have nothing to lose, you are a bhikshuki, you are just a beggar. So beggar has nothing to lose. What is the stake at beggar? They can speak big words, they can insult somebody. What are they going to lose? We have honor, we have respect, we have wealth, we have power. What is that you have? Even this dress my father gave you. And now you are saying Asmad Dharyam Dhritavati. What Asmad Dharyam? This is Asmad Datta given by us. You forgot that. So he says you are just a Bali Bhuk. Bali Bhuk means that in Varnashram system there is a custom that when you eat, then you have to do Bhut Bali. Means before eating you put some food for the crows, for the dogs. So that is called Bhut Bali. So those who eat that, who are they? They are called Bali Bhuk. So he says you just get some crumbles, some morsel of food from us, we throw at you. Yeah? Because dogs in India are not allowed to enter inside the house. They have to stay outside, and you throw some pape to them at the gate. And now this dog comes and starts telling you, oh you, who are you? So he says, you should know your limits and don't cut your own feet. Otherwise you'll starve. So evam vidhai sapurushaihi क्षिप्त्वा आचार्य सुताम सतिम शर्मिष्ठा प्राक्षिपत कूपे वासादाय मन्युना. So what she did? She was so angry, so she did not just stop at the verbal abuse. So fight always starts with verbal statements. And then when it escalates, then it becomes physical. Right? So if it does not escalate, it can stay at the verbal level. But when it escalates, then you cannot control, then your hands and legs, they come into action. And that is the ultimate outcome. So Sharmistha was not just speaking or cursing her, but she took also physical action. So there was a well nearby, so she caught hold of Devyani's hand, pulled her, and she is strong Kshatriya. So she threw her inside the well. And then she left. So she had her dress, which she already put on, and she took her dress. She did not leave the dress for her. So therefore it says that Vasam Vasayadaya Manyuna. So out of anger, she left from there taking the dress. So she thought that, because when you become angry, this is what happens. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama. When you become angry, you forget what will be the outcome of this. At that time, you can do anything. So sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti bhransat buddhinasat pranashati. So now because of this one act, for the rest of her life, she has to be the servant of Devyani. For the rest of her life. So that's how one action can change the course of your life. One wrong decision can put you in such trouble. But when a person is angry, then one can do anything. That's how dangerous the anger is. So we'll stop here and tomorrow we will read what happens next. Is there any question? Bolo, so this is not working.
I didn't hear it. I was worried this would sorry.
हाँ फिर से बोलो.
Whatever is this duel is unfair to Sarmishta.
Yes.
And because first she had been she was not intending to take her dress. It was just in that moment she took on the dress, and then she started the verbal abuse. And when she replied back, and then she has to become servant. So it's looking a little unfair. So what is the reason?
So reason is this, that fair or unfair, that is another thing. You have to always think that just because you are right and you take an action, don't think that the other person is also going to say, well, he's right, he's taking action, so I should not take action. This is the mistake which people make. They say, well, I'm not right, why shall I tolerate it? Okay, you are right and don't tolerate. But the other person is going to take an action and you have to pay for that. And then you can go and say, well, this is not fair, why is he behaving like this? He makes a mistake and then he attacks me. Well, you cannot stop. So you should always consider the pros and cons of a particular action. Just because you are right doesn't mean that now you can do and the other person will just sit quietly. So if Sharmistha did not want that this happens to her, then she should have not taken this action. So now she took this action and she probably is thinking, well, I did not make mistake knowingly, I just took her dress, what is the big deal, we are together playing, we are friends, it's not such a big thing. No, that doesn't matter. If you are right and the other person is not following the path of righteousness, then what are you going to do? Can you now say, well, this is wrong and he should not have done. He should not have done, but if he does it, what will you do? So this is what many times people do this. Just because they think that they are right, then they say, well, I can do it, I am right. So now you can analyze, well, she was wronged, or it was improper to act like this and that. And that's how it is. So she has her karma, and Devyani also has to pay for her karma. But what is there? If you shoot arrow at me, just because I am wrong, that does not mean that I am going to take it and say, well, I should not shoot arrow back to him because I was wrong. No, I can also shoot, and then you have to pay for that. And then let the court decide later on. All the time this is how crimes are done, you know. Anything else?
This anger is something that you said that we start with verbal and then it escalates and then it can become physical. So there is
Sounds familiar.
okay. So, but by observing anger, there is one time where, there is a way to stop it or to somehow to control it, because there is this anger in a reaction, like she did. She was completely mad, and she was.
Yeah, it is possible if you have your senses, your mind under control. Then it is possible. Otherwise, you are the slave of your senses. You just follow them, your mind, your senses, and you act, and then you pay for it. And then the beauty is that after doing that, then you rationalize your action and you blame others. That's what people do all the time. You don't later on also. If you are a wise person, even if you have made a mistake, then later on you deliberate on it and you accept that I made a mistake, then there is a chance that next time you may not do it. But people don't stop like that. So they make mistake, they may even get punished, but they don't accept that they made a mistake. That's how ego works. That is the whole ahankara problem. So therefore they don't change. They continue repeating the same pattern in their whole life. So this is the story of human mind or human beings.
I have a question.
Yeah, another thing I want to say, you said that we are becoming influenced by the emotion of others.
Yes.
So
If you are not under control, then that's what happens. It's just like if one person is smoking, then he throws the smoke out. Right? So then that smoke also goes into your brain. Just think of this example. So similarly, somebody is getting angry, so he's spreading anger waves around him or her. So they're also entering into your head and influencing. So you are smoking the smoked anger.
Babaji, could be Devajani's attitude towards her is that of inferiority complex?
Say it again, again, because the mic is not.
Yes, could be Devayanis' attitude towards Sarmi's product of inferiority complex?
Well, inferiority complex, superiority complex, both are two sides of the same coin. So what you heard here was superiority complex. But they're both two sides of the ahankara, nothing more than that. I mean, we already read. She's not talking like an inferior person. He says, Vayam Bhrigua, Vayam this. We are coming in Bhrigu dynasty, we created the world and even God worships us. This is superiority complex.
Actually, on Ahankara, I want to ask because if we study the character of Devyani, then she's from Shukracharya's lineage. And Shukracharya was also very ahankaric. So is ahankara based on the values that the child gets in childhood, or it's just like that?
Well, ahankara has two meanings. I mean, ahankara everybody has. You cannot function without that. So there is a benign ahankara, and then there is a troublesome one, you can say. So you can also say, well, we are Brahmanas. We come in Bhrigu dynasty. So we should be tolerant. We should be forgiving. Like, remember what Jamdagni was telling to Parshuram, that forgiveness is the quality of Brahmana and we are worshipped because of that quality, not for taking revenge. So that is also ahankara. That is another type, same ahankara of being a Brahmana. I am daughter of Shukracharya, I belong to a great dynasty. We are very high in our character and we tolerate, we forgive. You made a mistake, I forgive you. That is also ahankara.
Yeah, but Shukracharya was not the tolerant kind, right? He was always angry and
How do you say that?
whatever I've read about him.
Like what?
I've always considered him like the Vasmani, very angry, and he gets upset very soon with Brahaspati and with a lot of...
No.
She's adapted that from her father?
Of course, you adapt, you learn from your parents. If your parents are always fighting and you see it in your childhood, when you grow up you do the same thing. If your father is getting angry for small things, then that's what you learn. But Shukracharya is not famous for anger. He is famous for his niti, and you cannot do niti if you are an angry person. To be angry, you have to be just opposite of that. You have to be very tolerant. He has written a whole book on niti, Shukra Niti. Okay.
Bhavani Maharaj, one more question I had. Like in the previous this materials we did an exercise on ahankara, and that time we were told that bhakti is beyond ahankara. You have to go beyond ahankara to experience bhakti. But then when Shiva is coming, these girls are all, is this bhakti or is it just normal respect towards Shiva?
So why respect is not bhakti?
But then again they are displaying ahankara.
Yeah, but they are displaying to someone else. I mean, you are talking that as if they are Mahabhagavatas or what? Just because they give respect to somebody, which is an act of devotion, does it mean that they are now the topmost devotees or what? This word like bhakti and bhakta, people just take one single meaning out of it. And they think that, well, he is doing devotion, so why he is acting like this? No, there are 100 levels of devotees, There are so many different types of devotees and different levels of devotion. So you are thinking that either you are a devotee or you are not a devotee.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking like that.
Yeah, so that's wrong thinking.
So basically, so you spoke about this identification and how this having an identity gives us an idea how to act, how to not act. And you cited also examples from your own childhood. And so it means that all these stories that we hear in the Puranas or in the Bhagavatam about how devotees act and how they don't act, they should give us as sadhakas an identity of, or an understanding of, okay, now I identify as a devotee, as, you know, being part of this type of family, now this is how I have to act.
So this is examples, these stories are being given, what should be done and what should not be done. Karya, ajanata. So both types of examples are there. Okay.